So to be a master Djeeta player, you gotta learn 3 things. You gotta learn how to press down really fast, because you must teabag your opponent. You must learn how to taunt the opponent. And then you must realize, look at Djeeta, her armor is on her right shoulder, but if she crosses up the opponent, the armor is on her left shoulder. And if you know that, you will win. What's up guys, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be doing an entire comprehensive guide on Djeeta. That's going to include all her combos, her safe jump setups, her anti-air combos, her frame traps, her counter hits. Basically, if you want to play this character and main this character, this is the video for you. I'm going to cover everything. And if you want to know how to do Djeeta's technical input for a super, because it's really complicated, all the buttons you got to mash and everything, I do have a separate video on that. That's actually my first video on the channel. I will have a link to it on the top right. But that video will cover how to do the super, but this video will cover everything else about Djeeta. So let's start off with her combos. So her mid-screen combos, pretty simple, pretty basic. Anytime the opponent, there's like a DP or whatever, the best combo you can do is 3 H's into Rekka. That does the most damage. Like if you do only 1 H into it, it's not as much damage. But now if you were to get a combo with like a super, for example, if you were to do all 3 hits into SSBA, you don't get nearly as much damage. So you see there, I get 4980, and that's if I did all 3 hits. Now if I only do 1 hit, you maximize the damage. Now that's the same with any character with their SSBA, just so you know. Try to do as least hits as possible, just to try to get the best scaling. Now that's of course in mid-screen. In the corner you want to do like the big combos for damage and whatnot, but that's what you would do mid-screen. Or you can end the combo in DP, it's basically whatever you want. Now for her light confirms. So what combos for her? So it depends on whether or not the opponent is crouching or not. When the opponent's crouching, you always get 1 extra frame of hits done for your combo. And that's the same for every single character. So Djeeta is able to confirm 3 lights into a combo. And just so you know, when you end the combo with the light, it combos with either the light Rekka or the EX Rekka. It does not combo with the medium Rekka. So she can do combos like this, that links, you can do stuff like this. As long as Djeeta's in range, it will hit. So Djeeta's also able to link 2L into 5M, and she can also do 5L into 5M as well. So you can do stuff like this, and stuff like this. And knowing combos like this, like in the mid-screen, that's important because these strings are also frame traps. That's what you use to stop the opponent from mashing. I mean, I'll cover that more when we get to the frame trap section. That's why it's important to know what links and what doesn't. Now, if the opponent's crouching, you do get a couple little extra links, which is actually nice. So let me put the opponent to crouch. So when she's crouching, you're actually able to combo either 2L or 5L into 2M. So for example, like stuff like this will combo, and stuff like this too. And that's important to know because depending on whether your opponent is crouching or standing, that can change which block strings you do, so you can know like what exactly would combo. Alright, so now for her corner combos. Now her corner combos for the most part are pretty simple, but it does have some complex stuff to it. So I'm going to start simple. I'm just going to do the combo with just the EX Fireball. And that's pretty basic. That's basically any normal, any auto combo into EX Fireball. You can combo into DP. Pretty simple. And it's the same thing for Rekka. She can do stuff like this into DP. And you can add SBA or SSBA if you want to it. Like instead of doing 5H in the DP, you can do 5H into the super or whatever. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a little bit more complicated combo that uses just her EX Fireball, but that's also assuming she has her Rekka, because she can actually use her regular Rekka in a combo, so she can do stuff like this. And you see, that's a lot more damage than like her just like doing this. It's significantly more. So basically what you do is, you know, it's kind of similar. You do 5H into EX Fireball, then you do 5H into medium Rekka. And after you do medium Rekka, you have to press 5M because another 5H is too slow to hit. So then you do 5M into DP, or you can do 5M into Rekka. And then like it will look like this. Do my 5H, 5M, DP. And because you do the combo like that, you're able to save your Rekka, which means the opponent has to be scared of getting hit again because you have something else to combo with. Because you gotta remember, if you spend, all your bars, the opponent doesn't really have that much to be scared of. The only thing they can get hit by maybe is like a confirm in the super, confirm into DP if you haven't spent DP, or just a throw. So that's the usefulness of that combo. But let me show you the 2-bar version. You can do the same thing, but after the 5M, you do EX Rekka instead. That's the best if you want to maximize your damage. And that's especially good like if you want to do like a kill combo, you can end that with super and whatnot. So that's a really good combo, but there's actually another combo that's actually a little bit better than that uses all 3 bars. And actually the benefit of using all 3 bars with Djeeta is by the time you finish a whole combo, one of your bars comes back, because you can do a 3-bar combo either starting with Fireball or starting with Rekka. So let's just continue with the Fireball starter. So let's say I want to do a 3-bar combo. This is what it would look like. And the cool part, when you do those type of combos, you get all your damage and you're able to end with a sweep. And now when you end with a sweep, you're able to get a lot of nice pressure and safe jump setups. But I'll cover more about that when I get into all the safe jump setups and everything. But that's basically what's good about that combo. And you gotta remember, like after doing all those hits, you're pretty close to combo limit. So after you do all the hits in the EXDP, you're only allowed 2 more hits. So then you have 2 options. You can either do, depending on the character. Some characters after the EXDP, you can do 5H. Some characters you can only do 5M. But with this particular route with the Fireball, you can only do 5M. In the other route, starting with Rekka, you can more likely do 5H depending on the hitboxes. But like the best combo you can do after that is either like a 5M or 5H into SBA or SSBA. Or if you're not going to kill, I'd recommend going in the sweep and going to a safe jump setup. But again, I'll cover that later on. So now let's talk about combos with the starting route of the EX Rekka. So I showed you the basic one, EX Rekka into DP. But now let me show you the 2 more optimal versions. One using just the EX Rekka and the Fireball, and one using all 3. That combo is really strong, and that's the combo you want to do if you don't have EXDP. Because personally, I recommend with all of Djeeta combos, if you can, always use all 3 bars. But of course, you're not always going to have all 3 bars. Maybe you used EXDP. So let's say you used EXDP, you got a combo with Rekka, you can always do that combo. Well, I shouldn't say always because it depends on spacing and whatnot. Because that's the thing with EX Rekka. EX Rekka, like if you're in this range, the opponent's kind of close to the corner, that's what you want to use as your combo starter. Because if I use EX Fireball, you see from here I really can't do much, right? So let's say I just put the opponent back here. Let's say I use EX Rekka instead. You see, I'm able to get my full corner combo if I use EX Rekka. So that's the cool part about that. Like, so if you're like almost to the corner, definitely use EX Rekka, and then you can always do the same combos. So let me get back to what I was saying. Like sometimes that combo does not always work. Like if you're kind of far away from the corner, you see the 2H whiffs. So in that situation, you want to do 5H into EX Rekka and then another 5H into EX Rekka. And let me just space it right, and then you can do something like this. That's the kind of combo you would do if you're like too far away, and you start with EX Rekka. Like if you're around like this range, that's what you want to do. You can do an EXTP in that particular combo, but the way the combo works, the opponent is not high enough for you to actually get a sweep afterwards. So I recommend just a regular DP, or just end with a sweep after the EX Fireball so you can get your pressure. But if you're close like this, let me show you the 3-bar combo using EX Rekka. And of course, if you wanted to do like SSBA or whatever, like you would do it like this. And that's basically her combos in a nutshell. It's not all that complicated. It just depends on the spacing. And let me actually show you one more thing. Now, depending on the situation, you might want to not always use 5H in your combos. Sometimes you want to use like 5M. Like for example, Djeeta's over here and I start the combo with Fireball. Like 5H, okay, they're hit, but like let me put them a little bit further because I want to show you what I mean. Because sometimes, you hit with 5H and then I'm out of 5H range, right? So what you can do instead, you can use 5M into EX Rekka. But those kind of things like comes with time. Like you'll be able to adapt on the fly, like based on how far they are. If I use 5M, 5H or whatever. But just so you know, as a general rule of thumb, like if you're kind of far away over here, and if you do 5M into EX Fireball, that's not gonna combo. Like even if they're juggling, usually the Fireball is not fast enough. But like from around this range, the Rekka is quick enough to hit. But for the most part, just focus on the BNBs I showed you, the 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, whatever. I recommend always using all 3 bars, because like I said, by the time you use all 3 of them, like for example, if you start with EX Rekka, your EX Rekka is pretty much gonna already come back. If you start with EX Fireball, your EX Fireball is gonna be pretty much already back already, because the combo just takes so long to do. So that's what I would recommend. So now let's talk about anti-air combos. These are definitely some of the most important stuff you want to learn just in general for whatever character you're playing, because you want to stop them from jumping at you, because when they jump at you, that should be free damage for you. Now of course there's 2 kinds of jump-ins they can do. They can do an empty jump, which means you don't get a counter hit, or they can do it with a button, then you do get a counter hit. If you get a counter hit anti-air, that's when they stay juggling for a very long time and you can do your full combo or whatever. If they do an empty jump on you, if you just do 2H by itself, you know, it will just hit them and they'll flip out of the air. So that's why in general, it's safer to do like an empty jump. But Djeeta actually has some creative ways to where she can still get full combos even if you empty jump. So I can do stuff like this, right? I can do anti-air into unique, and that'll always work. You can do anti-air into SSBA. If you have SSBA, if anybody jumps at you, no matter what, they're pretty much committing suicide, so that's a yay for you. Or this one's pretty cool that I found out recently. I just randomly saw it in one of my Discord servers. Now you don't get the whole animation of the super, but like that's freaking cool. Like this still combos into the charged EX Fireball, so that's like beautiful. And that combo actually works even better in the corner. So those are pretty good, but those are normally pretty like situational. But like counter hit anti-airs, those are like very much guaranteed. So let me show you how those look. Now you notice what I did there, right? When I did the 2H, I canceled into my unique. The reason why I did that is because it gives you extra frame advantage. Because you can just do 2H and then like run up and combo, but it's actually a lot easier if you do the cancel. It's a lot faster, you recover quicker, you have more time to run forward during the combo. Because like it's not always a clean anti-air like that. So like if I walk back, for example, and I anti-air from like here, it's not quite as close. You see I couldn't get that combo, but if I were to use a cancel, I'm still able to get the combo. And depending on the spacing is what you want to do, right? So like if they're right on top of me, I'm close enough to run up and do a 5H into either medium Rekka or EX Rekka. But as you just saw for that combo, she was kind of far away from me. So I had to run up and do 5M. And when you do 5M either combos with the light Rekka or the EX Rekka. And then of course at any time when you're running up and doing your 5H or your 5M, you can always combo that with like your SBA. And now in the corner, you get your pretty juicy combos. It's pretty similar to the regular bread and butter combos I was showing you, but let me show you how it looks. So either combo works, it's all the same. If you just have like 1 bar, for example, you would just do, 5H, like for example, EX Fireball. If you don't have Rekka, you can just do 5H in the DP or whatever. And just remember, for the most part, every time you get a combo with EX Rekka, if you're close enough, you can always combo with 2H into EX Charge Fireball. Because that's what I'm doing if you didn't notice. Like when I do EX Rekka, I do 2H, that's an EX Charge Fireball. That's not a regular EX Fireball, that's actually a Charge Fireball, makes it do a little bit more damage. So that's about it for her basic combos, and that's pretty much all you really need to know. Now she does have combos with her unique, but to be honest, I wouldn't really recommend you just doing the unique because you can get it from knockdowns, but the thing is, when you get it from knockdowns, you're sacrificing pressure because you're wasting frames doing it. But I'll just show you what the combos are just so you know. So now I want to cover for Djeeta what is unsafe and what is safe for her. Now Djeeta is nice, like unlike Gram, her Rekka is pretty much safe in most cases. So I'm going to go over her special moves real quick. Now if she does EX Fireball in your face, she is plus. If she does EX Rekka, she is not plus. She is minus, but she is safe off most her rekkas. Now with her fireball, if you do regular fireball in somebody's face, you are going to get punished by somebody's 5L because their 5L is most likely going to reach you from this range. But if you do an auto combo into a fireball, then you have a lot of pushback, and at that point you're safe. But never just throw like a regular fireball in someone's face. Like never do like stuff like that. That's not real. That's very unsafe, and you will get punished. Now for her EX Rekka, that is safe. If she does 2 parts of it, it's safe. But if she finishes it, that's when it becomes unsafe. Now same thing with her medium Rekka. Her medium Rekka by itself, it is safe. But just be careful if you do any normal into medium Rekka. If they spot dodge you, you can get punished. And of course, if you finish the medium Rekka completely, you will get punished. Now the light Rekka is always unsafe, but sometimes you can be more unsafe depending how you do it. So if you do the regular light Rekka like this, you're still unsafe, but if you finish it, you're even more unsafe. But in both cases, you are unsafe, and it is a little bit of a mind game for Djeeta whether she does the full version or not. Because all the Rekkas are always minus. So for example, you do this Rekka, right? It's the opponent's turn, so they're going to want to push a button. If you know they're going to push a button right away, then you can actually finish it and get a hit. But it is very risky, and I would only recommend doing it in very specific situations when you have a read on your opponent, because if they decide to chill and block and they delay their normal whatever, you are going to get punished. So I'm just going to show you how the punishes look real quick. So that's basically it. So just in general, if you want to pressure with your special moves, you're going to want to do either regular medium Rekka, you're going to want to do EX Rekka or EX Fireball, or like I said, you can do the full auto combo into a Fireball, and that's also safe. Alright, so now I want to talk about her OKI and her Safe Jump setups. So just so you don't know real quick, OKI is basically just what you can do on the opponent's wake up. So in this game, if you get a knockdown with like an EX move, you get what's called a hard knockdown. A hard knockdown is something where the opponent can't do a quick rise, they can't do a quick rise back or anything like that. So if Djeeta, for example, does like a mid-screen combo into like EX Rekka, you can't get up quick. Even though I have the recovery enabled, like for example, if I get a knockdown with like regular DP for example, see how quickly Djeeta gets up? Well, you can't do that if you get a hard knockdown. So even though they're able to quick rise off of like a regular knockdown, you can still get a meaty on them if you get a knockdown with your regular Rekka or a regular DP. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that, right? So you can set the counter hit settings for whatever the opponent wants to do. That's like the best thing to do in training. So I'm going to have on wake up the opponent to do 5L. Because 5L is like the fastest button. So like when I knock them down like this, if I time a meaty correctly, I'll get a counter hit. So I'm going to show you that even off like a regular Rekka, you can get OKI if you time it right. So that's showing you if you time your buttons right, even though you don't get a hard knockdown, you can't let them mash on you. There's no escape, no jumping, nothing. Their only option is to either block or DP. And of course, once you establish that, that's when you're able to do your Rekka, run up, and potentially get a throw on them. So I'm going to show you that it still works even if they do a back recovery. And it's the same thing if you decide to end your combo with a DP. And just to show you, I have the opponent set to jump and they still can't jump away. So now let's talk about her safe jump setups. And you may be wondering, what is a safe jump setup? It's basically a setup that forces your opponent to block. Because if they try to DP, you'll be able to block the DP. If they try to press a button, you'll hit them with your button. So the only option they have is to block. So let me show you an example, right? So I have Djeeta set to EXDP on wake up. So this is what a safe jump would look like. You know, I do my sweep, super jump, do a heavy, I block the DP. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but instead, this time I'm going to have them wake up buttons. Just to show you, if they try to wake up buttons, they're going to get hit. You see they get counter hit. So if they try to wake up buttons, they get hit. If they try to EX DP, you're able to block the DP. So that's basically what a safe jump is. So Djeeta is pretty much able to get a safe jump off pretty much any situation as long as she's able to get a hard knockdown. Now from her hard knockdowns, there's two ways she can do it. She can do, like for example, if you're in the corner, she can do sweep into spot dodge into a regular jump, or off any kind of hard knockdown, she can just do a super jump into it, and that will always be a safe jump. So just for an example, I'm gonna do EXDP. Safe jump. I'm gonna do EX Rekka, it will also be a safe jump. So in the corner, I can do like sweep into spot dodge into regular jump, that'd be safe jump, or I can do sweep into super jump. Now, if you're fighting low-level players, safe jumps will just completely destroy them because they see you jumping, they're going to try to DP, you're going to block the DP, they're going to try to mash, they're going to try to do something, and you're always going to hit them. Now, if you're fighting a higher-level player that knows about safe jumps, that's not going to really work, but it's still always good to do a safe jump. Why? Because it gives you free pressure. Because after they block the safe jump, they have to guess. You can continue doing your pressure, you can do frame traps and whatnot, or you can just go for a grab. So it's still a mix-up on what they're going to do. Or sometimes what some people do, they block your safe jump and then they go for a DP because they know they can't DP the safe jump itself, but they can DP the frame trap afterwards. So then you can try to go for a DP bait or whatever. So that's why it's good to safe jump. It just locks down any kind of wake-up options. Because for example, right, let's say I do a combo like this, do whatever. Then I try to go in, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they woke up DP. The only option you'd have would be to block, and that makes you vulnerable to like wake up grabs. They can press buttons to take back their turn or whatever. So it's better to go for a safe jump. Now, you're not able to get a safe jump off a regular DP. So for example, if I do something like this, and I do a regular DP, I can't just jump and do a safe jump. That's not going to work. I would have to end this combo with sweep if I wanted to do a safe jump. That's why, like I said before, I highly recommend you always use your 3-bar combos because it has a lot of great benefits to it. You're able to end your combo in a sweep and not sacrifice damage at the same time. So like if I were to do this 1-bar combo, for example, right? I just do basic combo, I do 4,100 damage. But if I were to end it in sweep, I would do so much less. Look at that, 2,800 damage. I lose 1,200 damage because I wanted to go for a safe jump. In that situation, it's not worth it. It's better to just go with regular pressure instead of losing out in that much damage. But if you have 3 bars, you don't lose out on damage. I mean, let me show you the difference, right? You do 3-bar combo with this. I end this sweep, I get 5,250. And that's the max damage of the combo anyway. Like, the only thing I could do different, like, is maybe like 2 5Hs. Or like 2 5Ms. That's actually a little bit more damage, but like, I might as well end the sweep. I'm only giving up like 100 damage. And I get a safe jump set up. So that's why I recommend, if you have the 3 bars and you're close enough to the corner, always use 3 bars. You get your max damage combos. And remember what I said before, by the time you finish the whole combo, one of your EX bars are going to come back because of how long it is, and you get a safe jump setup. So that's definitely what you're going to be wanting to do with Djeeta. Alright, so this is probably one of the most important parts of this video. I'm going to be covering her pressure, frame traps, space traps, and her counter hit setups, because her counter hit setups go along with her frame traps. So first things first, what is a frame trap? A frame trap is a way to punish your opponent for mashing. So let me show you what I mean, right? So I'm going to have the opponent to block everything, add block switching. So I'm going to be going to my counter attack settings. You're going to want to go to counter on block. So I'm going to have them do 5L, because 5L is the fastest button they have. So Djeeta has many different frame traps she can do, right? She can do 2 lights, that's a frame trap. She can do 2L, 5L, that's a frame trap. She can do 2 5Ls, that's a frame trap. She can do 5L to 5M, that's a frame trap. Now for you to do 5M by itself, that's actually even on block, so as you can see you would trade, so that's not really a frame trap. You can use it in pressure if you want, but it's not really a real frame trap. So that's basically what a frame trap is, but Djeeta has like triple frame traps and like quad frame traps you can do. So Djeeta can do stuff like this. She can do bam, bam, bam. All those are frame traps. She can do boom, boom, boom. All those are frame traps. Any normal into EX fireball, that is a frame trap. So like for example, like if you do a full auto combo, that's not a frame trap at all in between any of that. And with Djeeta, if you do the full auto combo into EX fireball, that is not a frame trap. That is a true block string. A true block string means you cannot press anything, and once you start blocking it, you will have to block whatever comes after it. You can't DP in between, nothing like that. There's no gap. But if you were to do 2 hits of the auto combo, so like if you do something like this, that is a frame trap. So let me just show you real quick. Let me have the opponent press something on block. So look, I do the full auto combo. That's not a frame trap. But if I were to do part of it, you see that was a frame trap because they were trying to push a button on block, and that had enough of a gap to where you actually would hit them with your frame trap. So Djeeta can frame trap with her normals and her special moves. Now Djeeta can do the same thing with her EX Rekka, but it's not exactly obvious. So like normally if you do, for example, this into EX Rekka, even though I only did 2 hits of the auto combo, they were still able to block. So if you do it right away, it's still a true block string. But what you gotta do to make it a frame trap, you gotta delay the EX Rekka. Meaning you don't have to cancel the EX Rekka immediately, you can delay it by a few frames, thus making it a frame trap. So you can do stuff like this. It's a little tricky to time, but just basically just delay the EX Rekka, you know, don't do it immediately, just practice delaying it. Just practice getting that counter hit off making the opponent press something on block, and then you can get that frame trap, which means you can make a frame trap off all your normals plus a frame trap from your EX Fireball and EX Rekka, which is very strong. And the cool part about frame traps is at any point you can always go for a grab. So remember I showed you this frame trap. I don't have to do the full frame trap. I can do 2L into grab. I could do 2L, 5L, run up grab. And that causes like a whole load of mind games. So now I'm going to show you my 2 favorite frame traps I like to do, but each has like a positive and a downside to it. And it has to do whether or not the opponent crouches. So this frame trap here, or 2L, 5L, 5L, that's a really good like hit confirm and frame trap at the same time. So it does 2 things. If the opponent decides to like press buttons on wake up or whatever, this is a solid hit confirm. It will always link with EX Rekka, and if you're in the corner, you can get a full combo. The only issue is if the opponent decides to crouch block, the third 5L will actually whiff. So to show you an example, I put the opponent to crouch, and that's what happens. You see how that whiffs in this range? That is kind of unfortunate, but if it whiffs like that, you are actually vulnerable to get punished. But the reason why that's good is if the opponent decides to mash after the first 2L, then the 5L, 5L is gonna combo because they tried to press something, and then you can get your combo like that. It's only bad if they block the whole thing. Now to circumvent this, I tend to do another frame trap as well. I do 2L, 5L, and 2M. Now remember what I showed you at the beginning of the video, a 5L and a 2M, that links if the opponent is crouching. And that will work depending on what the opponent tries to do. So I'm gonna have the opponent go back to standing. So now listen closely, this is important. If you're doing the 2L, 5L, 2M frame trap, during that frame trap, after they block the first hit, if the opponent tries to respond with a crouching normal or they try to jump away, it will combo. The reason being is, if they're blocking everything, the first 2L forces the opponent in a crouching state. So they're already in a crouching state. So of course if they press a crouching button, you know, they're going to be crouching. So you're going to get a crouched combo on them, a crouched frame trap. And if you get a crouched frame trap, the 5L and the 2M, which is these 2 things, that will combo. But because the 2L puts the opponent in a crouching state, if they try to jump immediately afterwards, they will stay in a crouching state. The only way the opponent will return to a standing state if they try to respond with a standing button, like 5L, 5M or something like that, because they're doing a standing normal, that makes them stand, and that is when they'll actually stand up, and then your 5L and your 2M will no longer combo. But that's basically a guess you have to do based on what the opponent is doing, because there's a risk to doing 2L, 5L, 5L. Like I said, they can crouch it, so it's not 100% to do it, and I wouldn't recommend to always do it because they can duck it and punish you. So that's why it's very important to mix up the frame trap. And of course, if they block all those hits, you can add more to the frame trap because your 2M or your 5L, you can always follow that up with an EX Fireball, and it's even more frame trap. And the EX Fireball is plus as it is. So if you do EX Fireball, you're able to run up and press a button before the opponent is able to press a button because you're plus. But she has a lot of ways to do pressure, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about this frame trap right here. So I'm going to set the opponent on block to do standing 5L. So if I do this frame trap, you see they're able to block because they were doing a standing normal. Now let me have them do a crouching normal. That combos. And now just to show you, which is actually very good, it still stops jumping. So the only time that frame trap isn't really all that good is if they try to respond with like 5L. But if they try to respond with anything else, jump or whatever, you're gonna get your full combo. And that frame trap is so good because even if they block the first 2 hits, they still have to worry about your 2M afterwards. And now once you establish this frame trap right here, they know they gotta sit there and block. So what does that open up for you? That means you can do stuff like this: run up, continue your pressure, run up, continue your pressure, get grabs. It allows you to actually run up in them and close the gap and continue your pressure and work your way to the corner, because they're always scared of that frame trap. Because if they get hit by that 2M into EX Rekka, that's a hard knockdown, that's a corner carry, and you don't want to be in the corner versus Djeeta. So now I want to show you what her counter hit combos are, because it's actually pretty important to know, because like while you're doing this you can be fishing for counter hits at the same time, so you want to know what combos. Alright, so let me start with standing counter hits. So 5H and 5H, those two link together. Now that is very useful to use. Like, I'll give you an example. When you're fighting with Tara has an ability to deal with your throws. She could do an instant EX arrow, and that counters your throw attempt because she goes up in the air and she's actually able to do like a full corner carry big combo for that. Now the way I counter that, if I predict they're gonna do that, I just run up and I just do 5H. Does 5H by itself, the fact that they're jumping and pressing a button like that, that's gonna get a counter hit. And you know 5H, 5H, even if they're getting juggled or standing position, that is big damage. So it's good to throw it out every so often. Now a 5H by itself is minus. You're not going to always just want to pressure with 5H. You want to do like frame traps and stuff also. But it can be used as a hard call out. Like if you know for sure, like when you do a certain thing, they always press something, you can always fish for that counter hit and get really big damage. Now with her 2M, if the opponent is standing, 2M, 2M, it combos together. Now if they're crouching, you're actually able to do 2M and 5M, and that's really good because sometimes 2-2Ms won't reach like that. So it'd be nice to have like a far 5M. Far 5M goes really far. So in certain situations when they're crouching, it's nice to have a different way to get the combo. You just got to be aware of it. And also if you get a counter with 5M, you can combo that in the 5H. And of course you can combo 2 5Ms. Now I want to talk about her space traps. Now what are space traps? Space traps is basically you put the opponent at a range to where their furthest button that they normally like to respond with, or a button you know they like to press, will whiff. And if you know a button's gonna whiff, Djeeta's best whiff punishing tool is her 5H. Her 5H is excellent. Like she just clips you with that, especially if you're in the corner. She can combo that in the EX Rekka, do her big combo, and if she has SBA, ooh, she can pretty much get that from any range. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to have this Djeeta right here, do this, and I'm going to show you what happens if you whiff punish with this. Now the way I'm doing that, I'm buffering. When I press far 5H, I'm already pressing the input for the super. The super will not come out because I'm already doing a button unless I hit the opponent. So that's a very good whiff punishing tool you can use, and you can utilize that in space traps, and you can also do the same thing like with EX Rekka, for example. So this is what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to have the dummy do, you know, the 2L, 5L, 2M frame trap. I'm going to respond as Djeeta with my 2M, and then I'm going to have Djeeta whiff punish me with her 5H in anticipation that I'll try to press a button like that to try to take back my turn. Now, of course, the spacing you want to be at is different depending on the character. Like, I'm going to use Matera as an example again. Like, her 2M goes really far. So that means I'm going to want to take a little extra step back because Materas love to do 2M into EX Fireball to try to get a knockdown so they can get out of the corner. So what I can do if I predict that, if I can see when they want to press that button, I can space myself in a certain way, and then I can press my 5H. If it hits, I get a nice juicy combo. And if it doesn't, it's not so bad. But of course, like anything, it is a risk. Like yesterday, I was playing Naji, really good Djeeta player. We're playing in NLBC. He ended up beating me 2-1. But how I won one of the games is he was trying to do 5H into super, but I was also trying to do the same thing. I happened to press my button a little bit after his, meaning I whiff punished his far 5H with my far 5H, and I was able to combo that with my SBA, and I was able to win that round. So it is a little bit risky just to throw this button out there, but you want to throw it in anticipation for what the opponent's going to do, like especially if you make a read, because you're going to want to pay attention to their habits. You're not just going to want to throw it out willy-nilly. I mean, you can sometimes, and sometimes it does save you if you think your opponent's going to press something, but it's more based on a read because, you know, throwing out buttons in general is a little bit of a risk. And one thing I'll say about corner pressure, don't be scared to just throw out a random EX Rekka. it seems kind of scrubby, and honestly, it is kind of scrubby. But think about this game, right? You have Catalina, sometimes they're at this spacing, they will just do like a random EX Lance charge, or Gran will just do a random boot and like try to get a combo like that. Hell, you might as well do the same thing with Djeeta. Now you gotta be a little bit closer, you gotta be like around here, but like from this range, you know, you're kind of out of range of all your normals, so the opponent is more likely to want to press something. But if you have EX Rekka, you get a combo out of nowhere. So every so often a random EX Rekka, hell, even in neutral or in the corner, it can save you. Don't worry about throwing it out. I mean, meter comes back really fast in this game anyway. You don't want to rely on that. But if your opponent's defense is really good and you kind of get an idea when your opponent wants to push a button, like when you're really far away from them, well, then you might as well do EX Rekka and hope for the best, right? Now the last thing I want to talk about is her fireball game. Now her fireball game is some of the best in this game, just for the simple fact she's able to charge all her fireballs. She has a slow fireball, a fast fireball, and a charged fireball, and of course she has the EX fireball, and then she has the EX charge fireball, which the EX charge fireball is actually really slow, and if you're struggling to get in, and if you can get full screen, then you might as well just do EX fireball and you can run in and you pretty much get in for free, and the opponent has to respect it. Because in most cases, the opponent, you know, no matter what they do, you're going to be plus in the situation. If they try to roll forward, you're generally plus. You get to do your move first. If they try to jump, you're actually able to anti-air them. So that's a really cool thing about her EX Fireball. Not a lot of people use it, but it's pretty much a way to get in for free. Like what I do against Fairy, if I see Fairy waste the EX Whip, well, that's how she pretty much beats Fireballs. I get full screen, I get out of range of her far 5H, I do EX Fireball, and then I run in and I hope for the best and I try to get in. So that's what's good about an EX Fireball, but just in general, her Fireball game could really throw off the opponent. Like the opponent might try to roll forward or whatever. If you think they're going to roll, that's when you go for the charge Fireball. It throws off their timing and they'll roll right into it because they roll the timing to dodge the regular one, so the charge one will actually hit them. And yeah guys, I think that's about it for Djeeta. You know, I covered everything I can think of. You know, I got her combos down, so you just get those combos, practice those first. Know what's safe, know what's unsafe. Don't do unsafe things for no reason. She has plenty of safe ways she can do pressure. You know her safe jumps, know her OKI. Pretty much of any knockdown, she can get a guaranteed meaty. If she gets an EX knockdown, she can pretty much always get a safe jump. Practice doing all her frame traps, all her pressure, all that kind of stuff. Practice counter hit setups, space traps for different matchups. Practice her fireball game and you should be good to go. So anyway guys, I'm Jiggy Free. That's about it for the video today. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. And I'll see you guys next time.